Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Oh, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
క్లాసు బయలుదేరుతున్నావా నువ్వు చెప్తా ఆమెకి
తొందరగా ఇంకా ఏం చెప్పటంలో.
Good morning, sir.
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 sir.
Good morning, all of you.
Good morning, sir.
Good
Good
morning,
morning,
sir.
sir.
Good
Good
morning.
morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Yesterday, have you done the homework? Yesterday, have you done the homework?
No,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir.
What about voice? Is it clear to you or not?
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
Video streaming?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
Sir, okay. Okay, right. I will mute all
Okay, sir.
because disturbance occurs now.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Right now. If you are getting any doubt while class is going on, you respond in the chat box. Okay. So now, right? So here, so far, we have discussed what is physical quantity. Means it is a measurable property of any body in nature, that is called physical quantity. So physical quantity is classified into two types, scalars and vectors. Scalars means the physical quantity which is having magnitude alone but not direction, that is called a scalar quantity. Example, distance, speed, work, etc. Here, when the body travels from A to B, the body can travel along the straight line from A to B along this curved path also. If the body travel along the between A and B has covered a distance 15 meter, means in which direction the body travels. Is the body travel along this path or along this path? We doesn't know. That's why here this distance is a scalar quantity. If the body travels from A to B along the straight line path, then it is the shortest distance between these 2 points. The shortest distance between these 2 points is called a displacement. So if you are given the displacement, that means when the body travels from A to B, its displacement is 10 meter, means definitely the body travel along the straight line path from A to B only. That means if you are given displacement, indirectly we are given the direction also between A and B. That's why if you are given displacement, that is having magnitude as well as direction. Even then, if that physical quantity which is having magnitude as well as direction and which obeys laws of vector addition, then such physical quantity is called a vector quantity. So next one, vector. The physical quantity which is having magnitude, direction, and which obeys laws of vector addition. What are the laws of vector addition? Definitely I will say just a little bit later. So laws of vector addition. So the physical quantity which is having a magnitude, direction, and which obeys laws of vector addition are called here the physical quantities which have magnitude, direction, and which obeys laws of vector addition. They are called vectors. So what are the examples for vectors? Best example, displacement. What about displacement by time? In the formula displacement by time, displacement is a vector quantity. Even though time is a scalar quantity, but displacement is a vector quantity. That's why displacement by time is a velocity, linear momentum, mass into velocity. Here mass is a scalar quantity. But mass into velocity, the product of one scalar with a vector, that gives a vector. That's why mass into velocity is a vector quantity. Mass into velocity means linear momentum. So linear momentum is a vector quantity. Okay, next acceleration, force. Okay, next angular displacement. Okay, angular velocity, torque. In this way, there are different types of physical quantities are there which have magnitude as well as direction and which obeys laws of vector addition. They are called the vectors. Scalars cannot obey the laws of vector addition. Scalar quantities does not obey the laws of vector addition. Okay, here these are the vectors. So how we can represent the vector? Because we have to concentrate more on vectors in this chapter. Almost all kinematics, Newton's laws of motion, work done, rotatory motion. In all these chapters, we need the knowledge of vectors, integration, differentiation also. That's why vectors topic is also one important chapter in our physics to study the first year and second year physics easily. That's why basic mathematics and vectors in our schedule based on that concept only. Because when you read basic mathematics and vectors and when you are thorough in them, definitely you can get success in physics. That's why in our schedule, Chaitanya organization, while preparing the schedule based on the importance of the topic also, that based on the importance of this topic, schedule was designed. So it is useful schedule to you. That's why here second chapter is given vectors. Okay, now how we can represent this vector graphically? So next is a heading, geometrical representation of a vector. Next one, geometrical representation of a vector. Already you know what is a vector. So now geometrical representation of a vector. That means how vector can be represented. Geometrical representation of a vector. Geometrical representation of a vector. So how vector can be represented? Here, suppose a body travel from A to B. Suppose a body travel from A to B. A body traveled from A to B along the straight line through a distance equal to say 10 meter as here. A body traveled from A to B along the straight line through a distance equal to 10 meter. Okay, now to represent this, here this no doubt as it travel along the straight line from A to B, definitely display here it is equal to displacement. So displacement is equal to 10 meter. 10 meter means it is the magnitude and unit. That means it is the measurement of the displacement. No, it is the measurement of the displacement. So we are given measurement of the displacement. How we can represent this displacement in vector form? Because displacement is a vector quantity. So how we can represent? Here you see, from A to B, as displacement is equal to 10 meter, that means magnitude is 10 meter, it is not possible to draw an arrow mark because vector is represented with arrow mark. Okay, here the length of this arrow mark, we cannot draw the arrow mark having length 10 meter. That's why suppose if the displacement is 10 meter, you draw an arrow mark having length say 10 centimeter. We can draw. Each centimeter is equal to 1 meter. So 10 centimeter means 10 meter, no? In such a way we can write. We can draw. Suppose we can draw the arrow mark of length. Here from A to B, because the body travel from A to B. That's why from A to B, you draw an arrow mark whose length is equal to say 5 centimeter. Whose length is 5 centimeter. So then 1 centimeter is considered as 2 meters. Then 5 centimeter means it represents 10 meter, no? That's why displacement is 10 meter. As arrow mark is from A to B, because arrow head is towards B. That's why the body travels from A to B through a distance equal to 5 into 2 means 10 meter. That's why displacement is 10 meter from A to B. That means here the length of the arrow mark is proportional to the magnitude of this displacement or magnitude of this vector quantity. Okay, so in this way we can represent R. As the body travels from A to B, we can represent like this also. Here AB bar or vector AB. This can be called as AB bar or vector AB. So the magnitude here, as the arrow mark is from A to B, that represents the body travel from A to B. Whose magnitude? Magnitude means here it is a vector because it is a displacement. That's why it can also be represented as S bar, because displacement is generally represented with S. That's why in vector form, this can be represented as S bar. That means it is a displacement vector. What is the magnitude of this displacement vector? Means 10 meter. That can be represented as magnitude is equal to modulus of AB bar. That means the magnitude of this vector is represented with modulus of AB bar. That is equal to magnitude, which is equal to modulus of S bar. Modulus of S bar means simply S we can write or simply AB we can write. Okay, this is equal to, if vector form is not there, arrow mark is not there, means it is the magnitude. That is equal to 10 meter. Okay, here actually it is the part of the straight line. Here the straight line from A to B, it is the part of the straight line. Okay, it is mentioned with the direction. That's why it is called directed line segment. So any vector is represented with a directed line segment. So vector is represented with, any vector is represented with directed line segment, that is very, very important. Directed, that means it is having direction as arrowhead is kept. So directed line segment, it is very, very important. Once in competitive exam, one of the competitive exams they asked it. So any vector is represented with a directed line segment. That means it is a line having direction also. It represents the direction also. That's why it is called the directed line segment. Any vector is represented with a directed line segment whose length, that means length of this arrow mark, is proportional to the magnitude of that vector. Magnitude of, in this case, it is the displacement. That's why the length of the arrow mark is, or length of the directed line segment is proportional to the magnitude of the given vector. In this way, graphically, the given vector displacement S bar or AB bar can be represented like this or like this. Okay, here the initial point from which the body has started their motion, that is called initial point or origin. That point is called initial point or origin. Here in the diagram, A, of course, that can be represented also O. It is say A. We can write. So A, the point A is called origin or initial point. Initial point. Next, point B is called final point or terminus. Terminus or terminal point. Terminal point. So A is the initial point or origin, and B is the final point or terminal point. Okay, and this directed line segment is called a vector. So in this way, we can represent the given vector geometrically. So it is a geometrical representation of a vector. Okay, next. Addition of a vector. Addition of vectors. Addition of vectors. Suppose if you want to add one vector to the other vector. If you want to add one vector to the other vector. Okay, suppose here, this is one vector. This is a P bar. It is P bar. P bar is one vector, like displacement S bar. Okay, P bar is one vector and Q bar is another vector which is to be added. P bar is one vector, Q bar is another vector. Both are to be added. Q bar is to be added to P bar. Q bar is to be added to P bar. That is our A. Okay. What is the rules of adding one vector to the other vector? So addition of a vector. Okay, addition of vectors. Here, to add this vector to this vector, first you choose the given vector P bar. Here you see given vector P bar is like this. Here it is a point A, it is a point B, and this vector AB bar is equal to P bar. AB bar is equal to P bar. Now we have to add Q bar to P bar. To add Q bar to P bar, definitely the initial point of Q bar must be coincided with the final point of the P bar. In such a way, we have to draw the diagram. The initial point of Q bar must be coincided with the final point of the P bar. Then only this vector can be added to this vector. Otherwise, we cannot add. So exactly parallel to the same vector Q bar, you draw a vector here. Parallel to this vector Q bar. Here, whatever the length, whatever the magnitude of this Q bar, the magnitude of this Q bar is also same, and these two are parallel to each other. That's why this vector is same as this one. Hence, it can be represented by Q bar only. So it is a BC. BC bar is equal to Q bar. Here, Q bar is to be added to P bar. To add Q bar to P bar, the condition is the initial point of Q bar must be coincided with the final point of the P bar. Okay. So exactly parallel to Q bar, you take the vector here, so that the initial point of Q bar coincides with the final point of P bar. Is it coincided or not? Initial point of Q bar is coincided with final point of the P bar vector. No. In such a way, we have taken the diagram. Now we can add Q bar to P bar. So when Q bar is added to P bar, that can be represented as P bar plus Q bar. No. That means Q bar is added to P bar. not P bar to Q bar. Q bar is added to P bar, but not P bar to Q bar. Okay, so here Q bar is added to P bar. Then when you add Q bar to P bar, you will get some resultant vector. No, the resultant vector is given by the initial point of the first vector and the final point of the second vector. Here, this is the line joining the initial point of the first vector and the final point of the second vector or terminal point of the second vector. Okay, this vector AC bar gives the addition of P bar and Q bar. That is called resultant vector of the two vectors. So this is equal to R bar. So when you add the Q bar to P bar, then Q bar is to be taken such that the initial point of Q bar must coincide with the final point of the P bar. Okay, it is taken like this. So we can add Q bar to P bar. When you add Q bar to P bar, definitely you will get P bar plus Q bar. This P bar plus Q bar is given by, this can be represented in the diagram as by the line joining the initial point of the first vector and the final point of the second vector. Means this is the second, final point of the second vector. So that means this AC bar is given by R bar. AC bar is equal to R bar. So here AC bar is equal to R bar, AB bar is equal to P bar, next BC bar is equal to Q bar. So this is the law of vector addition, one law of vector addition, or one rule of adding one vector to the other vector. So when you add this vector to this vector, the resultant of these two vectors, addition of these two vectors is given by this third side of the triangle, or given by the line joining the initial point of the first vector and the terminal point of the second vector. So this is the law of vector addition. Okay, now there are different types of vectors are there. There are different types of vectors are there. First, types of vectors. Types of vectors. First one, proper vector. Proper vector. Proper vector means a vector whose magnitude is not equal to 0. Such vector is called the proper vector. So here we are having one vector whose magnitude is not equal to 0. Suppose A bar is a vector. Okay, then their magnitude means modulus of A bar we can write no, or simply we can write A also, because it represents the magnitude of this vector. The vector whose magnitude is not equal to 0, that is called a proper vector. A vector whose magnitude is not equal to 0 is called a proper vector. Okay, there are number of types of vectors are there. Next, like vector, equal vectors. Equal vectors. Okay, equal vectors means suppose it is A bar vector or P bar vector. It is P bar, or because we used P bar and Q bar. No, you follow one symbol. Of course, we can write A bar, B bar also, no problem. So it is one vector P bar. Okay, it is another vector Q bar. If P bar, Q bar both are parallel to each other and their directions are along the same direction, and if their magnitudes are equal, if the two vectors which are parallel to each other and having same direction, and if their magnitudes are equal, then P bar and Q bar are said to be equal vectors. Whenever two vectors are equal vectors, then we can write P bar, Q bar. P bar is equal to Q bar. When two vectors having same magnitude and same direction, when two vectors having same magnitude and same direction means definitely these two are parallel to each other. Then this type of vectors are called like vectors and equal vectors also. Equal vectors and like vectors also, because if the directions are same, then they are called like vectors. Magnitudes are also equal, that's why they are called equal vectors. Okay, if two vectors P bar and Q bar are equal vectors, then we can write P bar is equal to Q bar. Okay, parallel vectors. When two vectors parallel vectors, when two vectors are parallel. The parallel means when the directions of two vectors are parallel or anti-parallel to each other. When two vectors p bar, q bar are parallel, so that the directions are in the same direction or maybe in opposite direction, it is say r bar. All are parallel to each other. Of course, directions may be different, but their lengths are parallel to each other. That's why these vectors are called parallel vectors. If two vectors whose directions are also same, then these two are called like vectors. These two are no doubt, their lines are parallel to each other. Their paths are parallel to each other. Okay, that's why parallel vectors. If their directions are also along the same direction, then they are called like vectors. But magnitudes may be different. Here, magnitudes may be different. If magnitudes are also equal for these, then they are called equal vectors. Okay, here p bar and r bar are unlike vectors. P bar and r bar are unlike vectors. Unlike parallel vectors, because both are parallel, their straight lines are parallel to each other, but directions are opposite. That's why they are called unlike vectors. Unlike vectors. Okay. Next, unit vector. Next, unit vector. Answer is also in the same term only. Unit vector. A vector whose magnitude is 1. Here, a vector whose magnitude is 1 is called a unit vector. A vector whose magnitude is 1 is called unit vector. That means, suppose we are given a bar is a vector. A bar is a vector. Okay, if their magnitude is 1, then that is called unit vector. If their magnitude is 1, that is called unit vector. Okay, here unit vector is generally represented with n cap. Unit vector is generally represented with n cap. Suppose we are given one vector a bar. It is not a unit vector. It is not an unit vector. How we can find the unit vector? When you divide the given vector with their magnitude, then that gives the unit vector n cap of the given vector a bar. This a bar and their unit vector n cap both are parallel to each other. Okay, here along x-axis, the unit vectors along x, y, z axis are represented with different forms. So here the unit vector along x-axis is represented with I cap. Unit vector along y-axis is represented with j cap. Unit vector along k-axis, positive z-axis, that is represented with k cap. The unit vector along x-axis, positive x-axis is represented with I cap. Along negative x-axis, it is represented with minus I cap. The unit vector along positive z-axis is represented by k cap, and along negative z-axis, it is represented with minus k cap. The unit vector along positive y-axis is represented with j cap, and along negative y-axis it is represented with minus j cap. In this way, we can represent the unit vectors along three perpendicular Cartesian coordinates along the Cartesian coordinates. Okay. What is our doubt, Karthik? What is our doubt? No, proper, that may be negative or positive, but it must be having magnitude is always represented with positive sign only, no? Magnitude is always represented with here a vector whose magnitude is always positive, because magnitude of a given vector means modulus of a bar. Modulus is always positive. We are discussing the only magnitude. Is it along negative direction or positive direction? That is immaterial to us. Okay. So if the magnitude is not equal to 0, that is called proper vector. This vector is along positive direction or negative direction, that is immaterial to us. But if the magnitude is not equal to 0, then that is a vector, proper vector. Okay. Here the unit vector along x-axis, y-axis and z-axis are represented with I cap, j cap, k cap. So what is the magnitude of I cap? what is the magnitude of I cap? That means modulus of I cap. Magnitude of J cap, that means modulus of J cap. Magnitude of K cap, as I cap, J cap, K cap are unit vectors, their magnitudes are 1, no? That's why magnitude of I cap, J cap and K cap, that is equal to 1. That is equal to 1. Suppose if you are given one vector A bar, what is the magnitude of, what is the unit vector parallel to A bar? They may ask. What is the unit vector parallel to the given vector? Suppose A bar is one vector. What is the unit vector parallel to this vector, or what is the unit vector? Both are same. So what is the unit vector parallel to this A bar means n cap is equal to, we have to divide the given vector with their magnitude. Magnitude means modulus of A bar we can write, or simply A we can write. Okay. Proper vector means, suppose the velocity, displacement. Here somebody asked me, give example for proper vector. Displacement, distance, sorry, vectors, no. Displacement, force. Force is 10 Newton. It is a proper vector because magnitude is not equal to 0. 10 Newton is there. Displacement 10 meter. Magnitude is there. These all are the proper vectors. Okay. So here, this is the formula for unit vector. This is also very, very important point. Okay. Next. Next, fifth one. Coinitial vectors. Coinitial vectors. Anybody else can say? Coinitial vectors. Torque is a vector quantity, but it is a axial vector. I will say axial vector, no doubt. Torque is a vector. Okay, somebody is asking question. That's why I'm telling. Momentum is a vector. Torque is a vector. Okay. Right. Here, coinitial vectors. The vectors whose initial points are coincided, then those vectors are called coinitial vectors. The vectors whose initial points or origins are coincided, such vectors are called coinitial vectors. Here, initial points of vectors are coincided. Suppose here, this is one vector, P bar. Definitely it is another vector, Q bar. Okay. It is R bar. In among these three, are the all vectors are coinitial vectors, or only RQ are coinitial vector or PQ are coinitial vector? According to the definition, the vectors whose initial points are coincided or origins are coincided, they are called coinitial vectors. That's why P bar and Q bar are coinitial vectors. This is very, very important point, because to find the angle between any two vectors, definitely we have to take the two vectors as the coinitial vectors, and then only we have to measure the angle between them. Otherwise, we cannot measure the angle between them. Okay, that's why here, to measure the angle between any two vectors, one example I will explain here. Suppose this is one vector, this is another vector, P bar and Q bar. Here it is 30 degree. Then what is the angle between P bar and Q bar? What is the angle between P bar and Q bar? Angle between P bar and Q bar. Yeah, here somebody charting I cap, J cap are the coinitial vectors. Okay, because I cap, J cap, K cap, whose initial points are coincided, no? That's why they are coinitial vectors, no doubt. Okay, here, what is the angle between two vectors means? To find the angle between P bar and Q bar here, the two vectors whose initial points must be coincided. Here you see exactly at the origin, the initial point of this vector, both are coincided, no? That's why definitely these two are coinitial vectors. When these two are coinitial vectors, then the included angle between them, that means this angle, not this one, it is the exterior angle, included angle between these two, that is the angle between the two vectors. So angle between P bar and Q bar is equal to 30 degree. Suppose we are given A bar is this vector and this is B bar. The angle between these two is 30 degree. Angle between these two lines is 30 degree. Now what is the angle between these two vectors? Here you see the final point of this vector B bar is in this direction. So final point coincides with initial point of A bar. That's why we cannot treat this 30 degree as the angle between the two vectors. Okay, in order to measure the angle between the two vectors, definitely the two vectors must be of coinitial vectors. That means you extend this line in this direction. Whatever the length of this vector, you draw the same, you extend the line in this direction having same length, and direction is also same. Now if it is B bar, this is also B bar only, because it is the equal vector to this, because the length of this one is same as length of this one. Direction is also, length is same means magnitude is same. Direction is also in the same direction. We have considered this extended vector also. That's why this is called equal vector of this one. If it is B, it is also B bar. Okay, that's why it is the equal vector of this one. Now the angle between these two, A bar and B bar, is considered whenever the A bar, B bar initial points are coincided, then angle between these two is the angle between the two vectors. So now it is 150. So theta is equal to, because it is totally 180, straight line 180. From that you subtract 30, then remaining is 150. No, that's why this is equal to 150. Therefore, angle between A bar and B bar is 150 degree. This is the angle between the A bar and B bar. In this way, I think you could understand. Okay, so angle between the two vectors is A bar and B bar, which is equal to 150. Angle between the two vectors A bar and B bar is 150 degree. In this way, we have to write. Okay, now in this way we can find the angle between the two vectors. For measuring the angle between any two vectors, those vectors must be initial vectors. Okay, next. Sixth one, axial vectors. Axial vectors. Okay, axial vectors means the vectors whose direction is along the axis of rotation of the body. Such vectors are called axial vectors. For example, suppose here suppose there is a body. Here there is a rod. It is rotating along this path like this. About this axis, it is rotating in anti-clockwise direction. It is rotating in anti-clockwise direction like this. It is the center of this circular path. This rod is rotating like this. Okay, then what is the direction of angular velocity? So we have to take the right hand thumb rule. According to right hand thumb rule, you take the thumb and remaining fingers of the right hand perpendicular to each other. Okay, then you keep these fingers except thumb, remaining fingers, okay, at the position of this body. In which direction the body will turn? That means it is rotating in anti-clockwise direction like this. Then thumb lies vertical upwards. No, that's why thumb along the direction of the thumb, the properties of this rotating body. Properties of rotating body means like angular displacement theta, angular velocity omega, torque acts on the body, angular acceleration, everyone lies along this axis. That's why these all vectors are called axial vectors. The vectors whose directions are along axis of rotation, that is, they are called axial vectors. The direction of the axial vector can be had by using right hand thumb rule. Okay. So direction of axial vector can be obtained by right hand thumb rule. Right hand thumb rule. Okay. So the direction of the axial vector can be obtained by using right hand thumb rule. So in this way, next one more vector, zero vector. Zero vector or null vector. Null vector or zero vector. Null vector or zero vector. The vector whose magnitude is zero. The vector whose magnitude is zero is called zero vector or null vector. The vector whose magnitude is zero is called zero vector or null vector. Whose magnitude is zero means, can we say the direction of that vector? Here, the vector whose magnitude is zero means, suppose you take a vector, it is represented with just point, because then only their magnitude is zero. Can we say the direction? We cannot say. That's why the zero vector whose direction is indeterminate, we cannot say. So the vector whose magnitude is zero is called magnitude. Magnitude is zero, that is called zero vector. Its direction is indeterminate. Its direction is indeterminate. We cannot say. Indeterminate. Okay, that is the zero vector. So the vector whose magnitude is zero, that means we see a bar is a vector whose magnitude means modulus of a bar, that can also be represented with a, which is equal to zero. Then if modulus of a bar is equal to a, that is equal to zero, then a bar is called null vector. Null vector or zero vector. Okay, so this is one more vector. Okay, after this we have to discuss the resolution of vectors. We have to discuss the resolution of vectors. Resolution of vectors. Resolution of vectors means we can resolve or we can split the given vector into any number of components along any direction. For example, suppose in xy plane, in xy plane, one body travel from O to a point P in the along a straight line. One body travel from point O to point P and reach the point P here. So OP bar is the displacement vector. A body travel here in xy plane, one body starts their motion from O and travel along the straight line and reach the point P in their path. Then what is the displacement vector means? OP bar is the displacement vector, no? That means with respect to origin, whenever the body reaches the point here, this displacement vector gives the position of this particle with respect to origin. So this displacement vector is also called as the position vector. So whenever the body has traveled this much distance along the straight line here, at the same time, the body can travel, body has covered some distance along x-axis, some distance along y-axis also. When the body travel in xy plane, and reaches the point P, at the same time, it has covered some distance, it has covered some displacement along the x-axis, along y-axis also, because from this point P, you draw a perpendicular line onto the x-axis. I will conclude by 9:10. Okay. So here, from this point P, you draw a perpendicular line onto this. Okay. Then it is say Q, and from this you draw a perpendicular line onto y-axis. It is where it is intersects, that is say R. So now, when the body has covered a distance O along the straight line from O to P, at the same time, it has covered a distance OQ along x-axis, a distance OR along y-axis. The distance traveled by this body along x-axis is represented with x. Along y-axis, it has covered a distance equal to y. And the displacement of the body from O to P is R. O to P is R. Okay. Previously, I said, suppose A bar is one vector. We know A bar is one vector and their magnitude is A. When you divide this given vector with A, what it gives? When the given vector is divided with A, their magnitude, what it gives? Unit vector, no? That unit vector is represented with n cap, no? From this given vector A bar is equal to, how we can write? A into n cap we can write, no? N cap is the unit vector along the direction of A bar and A is the magnitude. Okay, now you tell me, whenever the body has covered a displacement R along this direction in xy plane, at the same time, what is the displacement covered by? The same body along x-axis means this is the displacement OQ covered by the body along x-axis. Okay, so this displacement of a body along x-axis OQ bar, how we can represent in vector form? The magnitude of this displacement along x-axis is equal to x, no? So magnitude is x. Then what is the unit vector along this direction? Unit vector along x-axis is represented with I cap, already I said. Okay, that's why this OQ bar can be written as x into I cap. I think everyone followed. Here, whenever the body has traveled from O to P, covered a displacement R bar, at the same time, it has covered a displacement equal to x in this direction and y in this direction. Now, what is the displacement vector along x-axis? We have to represent in vector form. So, that is equal to OQ bar. OQ bar is equal to magnitude of this displacement along x-axis is x and unit vector along this direction is I cap. That's why OQ bar is equal to x into I cap. Similarly, what about QP bar? Because whenever the body travels from this point to this point, at the same time it has covered a displacement equal to OQ, no? OR, no? So this is the displacement of the same body along y-axis. So what is OR bar? Tell me, what is OR bar? What is OR bar? That is y into j cap, no? Because the unit vector along this y-axis, positive y-axis is represented with j cap. That's why y into j cap is the displacement vector along y-axis. That is equal to y into j cap. Now we need displacement vector OP bar, which is equal to say R bar. Therefore, displacement vector OP bar is equal to R bar. That gives what? Displacement vector OP bar is equal to R bar. That is equal to what? You see, if this OR bar is equal to yj cap, suppose if you take the arrow mark in this direction, this length and this length both are same, directions are also same. That's why QP bar is equal vector to that of OR bar, no? So OR bar is equal to yj cap, that is also equal to QP bar. We can write now, because QP, when you take this QP along this direction, then this QP bar and OR bar both are having same magnitude, same direction. That's why QP bar is called as the equal vector of OR bar. That's why OR bar is equal to QP bar. That is equal to yj cap, y into j cap. Can we add this PQ bar to OQ bar? Can we add QP bar to OQ bar? To add QP bar to OQ bar, already I said, the initial point of this QP bar must be coincided with the final point of the OQ bar. OQ bar final point is this one. QP bar initial point is Q only. Both are coincided. That's why yj cap can be added to, this QP bar means yj cap can be added to OQ bar or xi cap, no? When you add this one to this one, the resultant of these two is equal to the line joining the initial point of the first vector and the final point of the second vector, means this one. So from the diagram, OP bar is equal to R bar, which is equal to OQ bar plus QP bar. Therefore, R bar is equal to OQ bar means xi cap. In vector form only we had write, plus QP bar means yj cap. So this is the displacement vector. Suppose if the coordinates of the point P are given, if coordinates of the point P are x and y, then position vector of this point with respect to origin is equal to OP bar. That OP bar is also equal to xi cap plus yj cap only. That means whenever the body lies here, at what distance from the origin the body lies, that is given by the position vector. So this is also called as the position vector. Okay. Suppose if the same displacement takes place in space, if the same displacement takes place in space, then how you can in space means that is having x coordinate, y coordinate, z coordinate, x coordinate, y coordinate, and z coordinate. Then if okay, next in position vector we will discuss. So here this is called x component of the given vector. You see, if it is the displacement vector, or you write this as s bar, because we have to, I said displacement, no, that's why displacement vector s bar. So here also displacement vector s bar you write. You better to write displacement symbol. So it is the displacement vector s bar. Here it is also s bar. Then what is the component of this displacement vector along x-axis? That means suppose the angle made by this vector with positive x-axis is say alpha. Angle made by this vector with positive axis is say beta. Then from the diagram, here sin alpha you take, sorry, cos alpha you take. Cos alpha is equal to magnitude of this by magnitude of this. Magnitude of this means x by magnitude of this means s bar modulus means s, implies x is equal to s cos alpha. This s cos alpha is called the horizontal component of this given vector s bar. The magnitude of this vector along x-axis is called horizontal component of this vector. That's why x is the horizontal component. Horizontal component of s bar. Similarly, what is the y component of the vector? Y component of the vector. Y component of the vector means magnitude of this one along this direction means y. That is the y component. How we can write? You take here beta, now it is s cos beta is equal to this one, no? So y is equal to, or cos beta is equal to, in this right angle triangle, cos beta is equal to y by s, implies y is equal to s cos beta we can write, or s into cos. Here you see alpha plus beta is equal to 90. Therefore beta is equal to 90 minus alpha we can write now. So 90 minus alpha. Therefore y is equal to s into cos beta, or s into cos. 90 minus alpha means sin alpha, no? So sin alpha. So this is the y component of the given vector. So y is called y component of vertical component. Sorry, y component means it is vertical in the diagram. That's why it is called vertical component of the given vector. Vertical component of s bar, given vector s bar. Vertical component of the given vector s bar. Okay, so it is the, in this way, the given vector, whenever the displacement of a body is along this direction, then it has covered the displacement along x-axis, displacement along y-axis. The displacement of this, the component of the displacement along x-axis is called horizontal component, which is equal to, if it is s cos alpha is the horizontal component, s sin alpha is the vertical component. S sin alpha is the vertical component. Okay, in this way, any vector can be divided into two rectangular components easily, but we can resolve any given vector into any number of components. We can resolve, or we can split the, here in the diagram, the given vector is divided into two components only. One is along x-axis, another one is along y-axis. But that given vector can be resolved into any number of components along any direction. That's why are the components of a given vector, components means this x component, y component, like that. Are the components of a given vector or vectors or scalar means they are scalars. That is very, very important. Note point. Very, very important for objective also. Components of a vector are scalars. Of course, here we have considered the component of this vector along x-axis and y-axis for our convenience. But we can resolve the given vector into any number of components. That's why components of a given vector are scalars. Okay. Next, position vector. Position vector r bar, it is represented with r bar. Suppose in xy plane, one body lies at a point P with coordinates x comma y. In xy plane, just 4 minutes more. In xy plane, one body lies at a point P with coordinates x comma y. Then the line with respect to origin, at what position the particle lies, that is called position vector. So you join to obtain the position vector, you join origin and the point P. This is the position vector of this particle with respect to origin. That is represented with r bar. Okay. Suppose here the angle made by this vector with positive x-axis say alpha, or you say it is alpha. With the positive axis, it makes an angle say beta. Okay. Then what is the x component of this given vector? X component of this given vector, x is equal to r cos alpha. Already I said, if it is alpha, then component of this vector along this direction is equal to r cos alpha. Okay. Next, what is the y component of this vector? Means this one. This one. If it is beta, then r cos beta we can write, or r sin alpha we can write. So this is equal to r cos beta or r sin beta. This is equal to y. Now the component of this vector along x-axis, along y-axis, both are known. If it is equal to r cos beta, then the component vector form, the vector component of this vector along this direction is equal to this into I cap, that means y j cap. The vector component of this one along x-axis is represented with x into I cap. Here, this length and this length both are same. Already, whatever previously I explained, same here also. So this length both are same. If you take the arrow mark also in the same direction as that of this component, then it is the equal vector of this one. That's why this is also equal to, no doubt, r sin beta only. This vector can be written as y into j cap. Here it is x into I cap. Therefore, the position vector r bar is equal to this plus this, no? It is say A, it is say P. Then from the diagram, position vector OP bar is equal to r bar. OP bar is equal to this vector plus this vector. That means OA bar plus AP bar. So r bar is equal to, what about OA bar? What is OA bar? OA bar is equal to x into I cap, no? X into I cap plus AP bar means y into j cap. Of course, what is x value means r cos alpha, y value means r cos beta or r sin alpha we can write. R cos beta or r sin alpha, because beta is equal to 90 minus alpha. So when you substitute beta is equal to 90 minus alpha, then you will get r sin alpha. That's why r bar is equal to xi cap plus yj cap. Okay. Here, what is the angle made by this given vector with x-axis? That is alpha. Their cosine value is called direction cosine. Their cosine value is called direction cosine. Okay. So when the given point lies in xy plane, then their position vector is r bar. Then angle made by this position vector with positive x-axis is say alpha. Then cos alpha is equal to, how we can write? X is equal to r cos alpha. Cos alpha is equal to x by r, no? It is the direction cosine which gives the angle made by this given vector with x-axis. Okay. Next, cos beta. Cosine of angle made by this vector with y-axis. That means cos beta. Cos beta is equal to, you see, y is equal to r cos beta. Cos beta is equal to y by r, no? So y by r. These are called directional cosines because If we know cos alpha, cos beta, then we know what is the angle made by this given vector with x-axis or with y-axis. We know. That's why these are called the directional cosines. Okay. Last one. What is the magnitude of this one? What is the magnitude of this vector? If one vector is given like this, then what is the magnitude of this vector? Means modulus of r bar. Modulus of r bar is called magnitude of given vector r bar. That is represented with r, which is equal to, you see, this length is equal to, according to Pythagoras principle, this length square plus this length square. It is x, this is y. That's why square root of x square plus y square, no? Square root of x square plus y square. If the given vector lies in space, if r bar lies in space, when this r bar lies in the space, it is having three coordinates, x, y, z. Then that position vector of that particle lies in x space can be represented as, then position vector r bar is equal to x into y cap plus y into j cap plus z into k cap, because it is having z coordinate also. That's why you will get like this. Therefore, this is the position vector of the particle. Then what is the magnitude of this r bar? Magnitude of r bar means modulus of r bar. That is simply r, which is equal to square root of, when this point lies in the space, from the origin, what is the distance of that point from the origin when it lies in space? Square root of x square plus y square plus z square. Then directional cosines. Directional cosines are cos alpha is equal to, tell me what is cos alpha? X component of that given vector, x by, this is called x component of given vector. So x by magnitude of given, sorry, it is smaller. Magnitude of given vector means magnitude of this one, which is equal to this one, r. Next, cos beta is equal to y by r. Cos gamma is equal to z by r. These are called directional cosines. It is the magnitude of the given vector. Okay, next class. Shall I take the class in evening? Shall I take the class at evening? Siddharth, no. Oh. At 4 o'clock, if possible, shall I take? Okay, today, what is the day? Wednesday, no? Okay, in next class I will take. Today I will send the information on concepts to you. Okay, then you prepare them. Right. Have a nice day. I'm signing out.